Hey everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Block, the tutorial-based Let's Play series where I show you all the fundamentals of Minecraft while also continually in the search for diamonds. Oh my god, guys, I have spent a considerable amount of time down here in between the last episode and this one searching for diamonds. Oh, we've got a friend down there that's lurking around, but you'll see some of these tunnels I have been working on are insanely long. Not all of them, of course, but... And then also remember that on top of not only am I doing these crazy long tunnels, oh god, that one right there, but on top of that, I also am branching out into cave systems as well during that same time. Like this right here leads into an enormous ravine. So yes, like I said, an enormous ravine. You might notice this spot right here is where I got attacked by the horde of spiders in one of the past episodes. But I've hence explored a little bit more of this area, dug out as many of the really valuable stuff as I possibly can, and like I said, I have done a ton of mining down here. But let me run upstairs really quick and show you exactly what I got out of all that mining. So the stash of chests continues to grow and grow, as you see over here. I actually have a good amount of stuff here, and yes, folks, that's right, we finally have struck it rich. 39 diamonds altogether. Thank goodness that I finally got enough diamonds to get us underway with a full set of diamond gear, and not to mention we should be able to make a pretty good amount of tools as well. So with that being said, you'll also see that I have converted a good amount of all the other resources. With all that digging down there, and let me show you something else too while we talk. With all that digging down there, we have got a ton of, yeah, stone. I've mined 5,200 pieces of stone so far. Whoa. But yes, we've accumulated quite a bit of stores of stuff down here. And all the blocks are is just a consolidated version of its counterpart. So with gold ingots, once you get 9 of those, you can convert it into a gold block. That way, it's a little bit more conservative of your space inside of your chest, so you're not just overwhelmed with all this stuff. Because, like I said, each block is 9 pieces, so 9 times 64, as you can imagine, is a boatload of coal taking up spots in this chest when we couldn't just have it as one stack. So you can always break this down freely too. There's no loss whenever you do this, so feel free to convert them into blocks and then back into their lower, broken up counterpart as well. So I've got this chest a little bit stored away, and we'll pull our diamonds out of there. I've got a little bit of extra gear that we've accumulated inside of the nether there, and then this is just an overflow of extra stuff, and you'll see, yeah, like I said, I mined a lot. But with all that's being said, that is exactly what we're going to be doing today, is we're going to be getting some of this stuff cleaned up. So today's project is twofold. First things first, we need to go over there and decorate our house. So I'm going to show you some basics on how I like to decorate, some cool little concept features for furniture, stuff like that inside of your house. We're going to get that all decorated, especially now that we have our nether wart that we went back to the nether for, so we can build our fireplace. And then on to the second portion of this episode. The second portion is going to be a bulk storage building. So the cozy cottage here is coming down. We're going to rip down the cozy cottage, and in its place we're going to build just a very, very simplified bulk storage unit. So what that means is that I'm going to build a small house here that's going to store a bunch of chests and a bunch of barrels where we can come over and store as much goodies as we want. It will be our centralized storage location to where we can come over and grab anything we need at any point in time. So without any further ado, let's get over to the house, and I want to show you some decorating ideas that I have. Well, actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and obviously make the 2 final pieces of diamond armor that I've been lacking this whole time. And there we go. Finally, a full set of diamond gear, guys. Ugh. Oh, man, that feels really good. But all right, on to decorating. Let's get to it. Well, first things first, we definitely came a long way for that nether rack to set on fire, so I'm going to go ahead and set our little fireplace inside of here, get her fired up here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I think that's going to look really nice, guys. And I went ahead and brought over our crafting table in here so I can pop up some ingredients that we need. And I think the first thing I want to do is I want to make a couple iron bars. Reason being is that this is going to give this just a little bit more cleaner look, like it's kind of protected from anybody walking into it. So we'll put those up there. And then I know that this is, I think, too thick right here. Yeah, perfect from the exterior. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of furnaces as well, because we're going to want to be able to cook anything that we need inside of the house here. Awesome. So I'll go with the little kitchen aesthetic that we got going on here. And I also want to make a smoker. Perfect. Throw our little smoker in right there. Now, I don't think I've actually introduced the smoker into the series yet. So the smoker is very simple. It's going to have the exact same interface as your furnace here. However, the only thing the smoker does is cook food, but it will cook it much, much faster than its furnace counterpart. The furnace is kind of your end-all, be-all. It'll smelt up or cook just about anything for you. But you have some specialized ones on top of there if you want to expedite the process a little bit. A smoker is for food, and then we could also in the future make a blast furnace, and a blast furnace is for smelting down ores that's going to be twice as fast as the furnace. Every good kitchen is going to need some storage, so I'm going to throw some barrels up there. And I think, let's see, I want to show you guys a little trick. So you can make an item called a tripwire hook. And this is used to make traps if you'd like to. You can actually make some pretty cool little designs with this thing. But if you've got an ingot, a stick, and an oak plank, you can make a couple of tripwire hooks. And if you set that over on the wall here, and then let's say we put our cauldron here, and then we put a bucket in there. This almost looks like that it's a working sink. You've kind of got the tap coming out right there, and it looks like it could just be spewing out some water. So definitely cool. You could also use a lever if you'd like as well. Let's see. If I craft up one of these, I can show you guys that, you could do something like that too as well. Whatever suits your aesthetic, but I think the tripwire hook really blends well in there and really lends itself to look very similar to what a faucet would be. So now I want to kind of make just a couple little spots for some counter space over here because we've got a nice view out the window. So I think that would be nice to just go ahead and be able to view out the window as you're cooking and washing up and stuff like that. And I'm going to keep the crafting bench there in the corner because, what better spot than having your crafting bench right there readily accessible next to you. And let's see. If you make a steel pressure plate with 2 iron ingots, you can actually throw this on top of one of these, and it kind of almost gives it the aesthetic of a cutting board as well. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that on the center there, and that's going to be our cutting board for anytime we're washing up our veggies and stuff like that. And of course, we're going to need some seating as well, so I think we'll just put in a small little seat here. Let's do right about here and here. Let's see, does that look okay? Yeah, I think that's going to be perfect, guys. So what I'd like to do on my chairs to give them a nice little bit of design, go ahead and throw you in some signs. So we're going to get a few of these. We're actually going to need a couple more because we have 2 chairs. And if you put them on the side of the stair there, on both sides, there, whoop, this one, not there. But yeah, with some signs on the edge of that, you can actually make it kind of look like a little seat there. So now we can take a bit of birch fencing in the center, and if we take a oak pressure plate, set that on top of my wooden fence there, and voila, that looks very similar to what a little dining room table would look like there. So perfect. Now we've got a small little kitchen set up here. And aside from some lighting and a few little aesthetics here and there, I think this is looking pretty dang good, guys. So I think I'm going to go ahead and catch a nap real quick. And then we need to move over to the pond over there. And I don't know if you can see it. I don't think we can see it. But there is a new plant that we have not messed with yet that we're going to need to harvest and turn into paper. That paper is then going to turn into some books, and those books will then turn into some bookshelves. And I think those bookshelves are going to look really good in our living and seating area in here, and maybe we'll throw one upstairs in the old bedroom as well. So let's run over to the pond and see if we can find us some reeds. There they are. So these are reeds or sugarcane. So the old school players that played Minecraft way back in the day, you'll remember these just as reeds. That's pretty much what I always call them. Or if you're kind of new, you'll realize that they're going to be called by their actual name, which is sugarcane. So sugarcane is fantastic. It can be made into sugar, of course, and if you mix that with some milk and some eggs and some wheat, you can actually bake a cake. And we might do that pretty soon, but we actually are going to use it to make some paper today. So, sugarcane is very, very easy to plant and harvest. You don't need to till the ground similar to your other crops over here, like the beetroot that I've planted and the wheat up there and stuff like that. All you need is an adjacent water block, and you can plant sugarcane on top of sand or grass or dirt blocks. So we're going to go ahead and use the 3 pieces that we got off of the one sugar cane and plant them into single rows here, and each one of these will grow up to a maximum of 3 tall. So once we have these grow up to 3 tall, then we'll come back over here, harvest them, and then turn them into more sugar cane so we can keep doing the process over and over until finally we have enough to make plenty of paper. Now, as we were swimming through the pond here, a couple of y'all might have noticed a different color block as well. You'll notice that we've got sand, we've got dirt, we've got some gravel, but we've got this here. So this is clay. Now, if you go ahead and take a shovel to it and get some of this clay, you're going to end up with clay balls. Now, with that one single quote-unquote vein of clay that we got out there, we actually gained quite a bit of clay balls. So you can do a couple things with these. You can actually take the clay balls, put them into your crafting grid, and form up some clay. Now with the clay, you'll see that we just unlocked the terracotta recipe. So with the clay, you can actually fire that up into a furnace and it will form terracotta, which you can find in some different biomes around the world, like the Badlands. So I took about a half a stack of clay over here, threw them into the furnace, and that is going to start yielding us bricks. So bricks are really amazing. They will form up a different variety of blocks, just similar to your other stone types, like you can make stairs and half slabs and the full blocks, etc. But in addition to that, you can also take 3 of these bricks here and form a flower pot. So that is exactly what I wanted right there, is a flower pot. So you can take your flower pot and take a wide variety of plants. We can just actually take an oak sapling, throw it in there, and now we have a little potted plant. And I think these are going to lend a fantastic contribution over here to the house, give it just a little bit more character, a little bit more brightness. So I think I'm ready to put the final little touches on our small little kitchen area here. I'm going to go ahead and finish this out, kind of box this in a little bit, give it a little bit more of an enclosed look, and that will also allow me to put a lantern, centered kind of over the window there. And I think the final little touch is going to be finally putting a flower out here. So yeah, that's going to give it just a little bit of pop of color. So hopefully this guy gives you guys just a little bit of an idea of what you can do with some kitchen ideas. This is not very involved by any means, just a very simplified build, and that's what I'm going for early game here, guys, is to show you just some simple ways to kind of spruce up your place a little bit to make it a little bit more homey. So now we can turn our sights over to the living and seating area. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple seating areas in here, do a couple little decorations and stuff. I'm thinking about possibly putting some kind of like small chandelier or drop down lighting arrangement in here as well. So let's see what I come up with, guys. Well, I figured before I started on the living room area, I'm definitely going to need some leather for some of the projects that I have set up for inside of here. So I went over here next to the temple and found me a couple of bovine friends, and I'm going to lure them back over here kind of close to the house and stick them in a little fenced up area just so I can start breeding these guys up as well. And we had a little black sheep friend want to join us too. So I don't know. I'm just gonna leave him in there. He's gonna be like our mascot for the cows over there. He's a cow in disguise. So, all right, I think we can get on to finally decorating this living room area now. So first things first, with the sun setting here, I definitely need to get some light in here. So I think that I'm going to place a couple of fences here, kind of get it positioned right about there. And I went ahead and I made a couple of glow stones, and I want to introduce one of these, I think. And I think that's going to be my major source of light, is I'm just going to have that illuminated. But that looks a little funky in here, a little bit weird, so I'm going to make some birch trapdoors, and these I think are going to be great. So we're going to put these around the outside down here on the bottom, and then we're just going to plop those up there, and that's going to cover up the aesthetic, and it's going to look kind of like a little bit of like a glowing lamp. And in order to cover up the bottom, we can go ahead and throw a birch half slab there. And perfect, we've got a nice big glowing lantern for our living space here. And it should illuminate enough. We'll see on the left hand side over there, I'm looking at the client light and the server light. And I'm looking for anything that is below an 8. Because whenever it is a 7 or below, then that means that mobs can spawn. So I think we're all good here, as a matter of fact. So I want to make a desk or seating area where we can kind of do some paperwork and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and place a upside down stair here and continue across with a desk, and then put another half slab there just to kind of make us a desk pattern. And then I want to come up with it a little bit here. This would be kind of like a shelving area, and we'll come across there. Excellent. Perfect. Give us just a little bit of variation here, a little bit of differences, a little nook in here. And now let's go ahead and start decorating this a little bit. So I made a couple of paintings already, and I want to show you guys how to make these real quick. It's nice and simple. If you have a piece of white wool and some sticks, you can make yourself a painting. And depending on where you place this, you'll see if we place it on a very large wall here, even with these windows here, it's still going to count as a flat block. If we place it here, it's going to give us one of a couple different paintings here that could pop up. So you won't always get the same one. Let's see if we can get a different one here. There we go. So there's some Donkey Kong for you. So we've got a couple different painting styles that will show up, but it's not always going to be this huge size painting. If you place it in a smaller area, similar to this right here, you'll actually see that you get a smaller size painting. And then again, you've got some different varieties in those. Little creeper face, there we go. And again, if you place it in an even smaller area, you get one of those. So you've got a couple different sizes that you can kind of play around with. And remember, it's going to be restricted. So if you have a painting that, let's say you want to put a painting here, but you only want it to be a 1 block, then just go ahead and place any other old block right here to block that spot. And now you can go ahead and place that painting, and it will be a 1 block instead of the 2 block wide. So now I'm going to come over here and make a spot where we can sit down at. So we'll put our chair down, put our armrests on there like we did before. And I'm going to go ahead and throw a flower pot in here. And what should we do? I think I'm going to put this orange tulip in this one. Yeah, that'll look really nice. And now we can go ahead and put a couple more finishing touches on this. Let's see, what else do we have? We have our painting that we can do. And I think I'm actually going to, let's remove our flower pot, because a flower pot does not count as a full block. Now we can place a full block here, put our painting there, and now we'll go ahead and put our flower pot back up there. Oh, and we wanted the orange tulip, not the oak sapling. There we go. Perfect. Excellent. Now, like I said, this is going to be a desk area, so I kind of want it to look like there's some paper here. So you can go over here, and again, if you have some white wool, you can go ahead and make some carpet. And you'll see I already made a couple more pieces of carpet. We're going to be using a few pieces of it. So we've got some carpet, and I can lay a piece of carpet up on top of there, and that almost looks like it's a piece of paper that we've been making some notes on there. Excellent. Perfect. Let's decorate just a little bit of that top area up here. I think just a few oak trapdoors are going to do just fine, just to kind of give us a little bit of trim up here. We don't have too much space because of the roof here. So I'm just going to go ahead and place a couple trapdoors. And if you crouch while you're clicking onto the trapdoors, you can actually place a trapdoor on top of a trapdoor. So, perfect. There we go. That'll give us just a little bit of trim there. And let's see, do we like it on the edge as well? Yes, I think I'm going to leave that there as well, just to kind of give it a little bit more character, a little bit of that color contrast. We don't have too many choices on color schemes right now, and that is a problem, as a matter of fact. Shortly after this endeavor here, this project we're working on, I definitely am up for trying to do a little bit of exploring, trying to venture out there somewhere and find us the last couple wood types so we can bring it back here to home and we can start experimenting with those as well, because I'll be honest, I miss some spruce and I miss some dark oak. We definitely need to get those as soon as we possibly can. But until then, I think I can go ahead and make the next thing I want to make. So in order to make the next item I want to make, we're going to have to make some smooth stone, something we have not made yet. So in order to make smooth stone, we're going to take that stone we made previously, which is whenever you take cobblestone, put it in a furnace, it'll turn it into stone. Now we're going to take that stone, fire it up, and that is going to make us some smooth stone. Now with some smooth stone, we have that in our repertoire, and we can go ahead and make some smooth stone slabs. With those smooth stone slabs now, I've unlocked the recipe for an armor stand. Perfect. So with an armor stand, I'm going to go ahead and put it over here, and the armor stand will orient to whatever direction you're facing. So if I place the armor stand facing directly this way, then the armor stand will face directly this way. However, if I come in here, knock it down, and place it at an angle, catty corner, you'll see that now the armor stand is facing catty corner. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And now I'm going to run over here and grab our very first set of iron armor that we ever made inside this world. I've still saved it over there in storage, and I'm going to plop it on top of that armor stand as a commemoration to our efforts. So in order to place your armor on the armor stand, you'll just have it in your inventory, come up to it and right click on there. And just like I said, our full set of iron armor that we very first started the game with, folks. And now we have diamond. The next step, enchantments. So this is going to look absolutely fantastic in our little living room area. And I've got some more additions to make, guys. So let's continue on. So I think a couple more paintings up here on this wall will really add some more character. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do a couple small 2x2 paintings above each one of these windows. In order to accomplish that, I'm going to need to kind of like case off the area that I want this. So like I said before, this is the area that I want my painting to be, and I've restricted it so it won't go past this point, and it won't go past this point down, and I'm determining where it's going to start. So right here is where it's going to start. And we've got a painting there. That painting is hideous, so we're going to try again. Perfect. The warming of the hands. I like that one a lot better. And we're going to come over here and do the same thing right here and see which painting we get. Ooh, the wither. Awesome. That one's a little imposing. And it's right above our armor stand, so awesome. It looks like we're going into battle against the wither. Now I think I'm going to make a couch area. Let's make a little couch or seating area right here. So I've made up a couple of banners. So all you're going to need is some white wool and a stick there, and you can craft up some banners. I made 4. You can make as many as you need for whatever your spot is or however large you want your couch to be. So I'm going to carve out 4 spaces here in the floor. And we'll actually do a couple more because I'm going to have to maneuver around in here a little bit. And we're going to take our white banners. We're going to place one here, and then we're going to get up here and place one there. And one there. Perfect. Excellent. So, and then we're going to come down here and I'm going to place a torch. We're going to need this torch to illuminate this area right here, because if we don't, as soon as we do the next step here, our banners would turn completely black because there is a lack of light in the bottom. But without further ado, we'll place our stairs there, there, and there. That's going to give us the look that these are some couch cushions kind of, or some throw pillows sitting on top of our couch there. So I think that's awesome, guys. I think that's going to lend really well to this area. So I think this is pretty much the entirety of the small sitting area. Now I want to throw in a couple of bookshelves here and maybe a couple small decorations, and let's go see how our reeds are doing. Nice. Well, you'll see that I've replanted them a couple times since, and it looks like we've got all of them up to stage 3 growth right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave all the ones that are already planted there, pick all of these up, and we're going to head over here and turn the sugarcane into some paper. All right, guys, back at the house, I've grabbed our leather, grabbed some oak planks, stuff like that we're going to need, and we've got our sugarcane. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the 30 pieces of sugarcane we've got, each one's going to require 3 pieces, into 30 pieces of paper. So now that we've got our 30 pieces of paper, we're going to unlock the book recipe, and we can actually change our 6 pieces of leather into 6 books. So I'm going to need to do that, and we'll unlock some more recipes. So now we can go ahead and make some bookshelves, and we're going to use up all of our books there. We're actually going to only be able to make 2 bookshelves out of that. And you got to be real careful with this. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate just for your benefit here. But when you break these, if you don't have a silk touch, you'll actually only get the books back, and you'll have to use the wood again in order to craft it. But you'll still get all the ingredients back in order to make one more bookshelf. So don't feel that you're going to lose out or anything. So I think I'm going to go ahead and place one here, and I want to place one right here for right now. And I really want to go out here and get some of these cows, and I think I want to make like one, maybe two more bookshelves as well. Go ahead and throw that meat in the smoker there too. You'll see how much faster that actually moves, guys. It is insanely fast compared to that. Now, you'll still get the same kind of results whenever you put coal in there. So you're going to get 8 pieces, but the 8 pieces will go considerably faster considering compared to the furnace alternative there. So now we've got a little bit more leather, and we can go ahead and make a couple more books, and there we go. Perfect. So now that I've got all those done, that's enough bookshelves, I think, to fill out the area. Pretty good so far. And now I've got an idea of what I want to do next. So let's go in here. I need to grab a little bit more wood. Okay, so truth be told, I had to go run over there and get some more reeds real quick and make one more bookshelf. I had to scrape together enough materials for one more in order to make the item that I wanted. So the item that I wanted is the lectern. The lectern is really cool. It is a workstation for villagers, which we haven't even gotten into any villagers or anything like that thus far, but for us, it's going to give us a really cool look. You see it has the same kind of color scheme as the bookshelves there, and it looks like that we've got a little area that we can go ahead and do some reading on there. So I'm really excited for that, guys. And then once we actually get to a spot where we can find some squids and obtain an ink sac, we can transform one of our books into a book and quill, and then we can place that book and quill onto the lectern here, and it will give us even more of an aesthetic, as though we've done some light reading here, you know, something like the encyclopedia or the Bible, or, you know, something like that. So it's really cool though, guys. I think this area is coming together pretty fantastic, and I think the last couple things I want to do is just add in a couple of chests here. I want to definitely get a little bit more storage in here. I think I'm going to put another one. Let's see. Let's just do them. No, I don't want them both right there. Let's see here. Let's go right there and there. Yeah, we'll give it a little bit of space on the outside of that door. But let's get upstairs, take a nap, and it is time to finish up with decorating the bedroom. So first things first, for the bedroom, we have to dye our bed. That is right. We are going to color our bed. So I've gathered up a little bit of lapis lazuli there, and I'm going to go ahead and convert the lapis into some blue dye, and that is going to allow us to make a blue bed. So all you're going to have to do is just put your bed in there with whatever dye that you prefer. If you don't like blue, there is a wide variety of colors in the game, and you can go ahead and select whatever color you'd like. So we're going to go with blue, bringing it upstairs, and that's going to give us a nice little pop of color up here first off. Now we're going to go ahead and make some spots where we can hang some of our more valuable possessions. I went ahead and saved our very first wooden sword and our very first wooden pickaxe that we made in this series ever. And I want to hang those up on the wall. In order to hang them up on the wall, we're going to need some item frames. So I'm going to select these. All you're going to need is a piece of leather surrounded by sticks, and you can make some item frames. I'm going to go ahead and actually craft up all 4 pieces of our leather into item frames, because I know I'm going to want all 4 of these anyway. So right above our bed here, I think, is a perfect location to hang our very first ever wooden pickaxe. Perfect. That is exactly what we started off the series with, guys. The very first one we've ever created. So that is awesome. And then on this side over here, I think I'll do our very first sword that we ever did. So we've got our 2 very first items that we ever made in the game, guys. The pickaxe and the sword as a little commemoration. And now we need to go downstairs and make the next item that I want. And that is going to be a jukebox. So we actually have finally a little small surplus of diamonds. We've got a few left over. I brought those over with me. And you're going to need a diamond surrounded by planks, and that is going to yield you a jukebox. From the couple of spawner dungeons that we found along our travels, I've actually managed to find 2 discs, and one of them is my very favorite one in the whole game, and that is cat. So we'll go ahead and throw on a little bit of cat here, and now we actually have a little bit of music inside of our house. Fantastic. And of course we'll need a spot to store all these discs, but I want to kind of put a little spot on the wall here, and we're going to throw up the other disc that we have. Now, this one is 13. It is an eerily Halloweenish, ghoulish vibe to it. A lot of sinister sounds in this one. Not one of my favorites. However, it does have a cool look, so I'm going to throw it up there on the wall. That way we can save it. I've got a little small barrel I put over here next to the bed, kind of as a nightstand. We can go ahead and store some of our extra valuables there. I think we're going to store our music discs and our rare collection of diamonds in there as well. Now, we've also got a little commemorative thing from the last time, or the first time we ever encountered pillagers as well. I saved our very first banner. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on the wall as well, in commemoration to us killing our very first pillagers. Of course, since we have a pillager banner on this side's looking a little bit drab, so I'll go ahead and throw a painting on that side to even it out. Yes, excellent. We'll throw that up over there. Now, this wall right here, we're going to go ahead and put a couple spots for storage over here, and then just a couple more fun ideas, maybe a little bit of shelving and stuff. We're kind of limited on space in here, but I also wanted to put in some colored carpeting. Now that we've learned a little bit about dyes, I kind of want to go down here and make a little bit of some colored carpeting for a rug in our bedroom. So in order to get the variety of dyes that I'll need, I'm just going to come to my area around my house and use some bone meal on the grass. Since we're in an area that will naturally spawn flowers, on occasion you'll actually just go ahead and get the flowers to spawn, and you might get a couple varieties that you've been looking for. Like I'm kind of looking for some reds, so if I could get some more poppies, that would be fantastic. So we'll make our poppies in a red dye, and you'll see that we've unlocked a couple more recipes. So you can actually go ahead and mix that red dye with the blue dye that we have there, and we can make some purple dye, which is what I'm going for. I definitely want some purple carpet in my room. I think that's going to give it a nice, bright, vibrant pop. Now, whenever you are making carpet, ensure that you are making the wool color that you would like before you make the carpet. Whenever you turn it into carpet, you cannot dye the carpet afterwards. So, if we want purple carpet, we're first going to have to make a couple purple wools. So, we'll go ahead and make a couple purple wools here. Now that I unlocked purple carpet, purple banners, all that stuff. And make sure that you're always going in numbers divisible by 2, because you're going to need at least 2 pieces of wool to make your carpet. So now we've got 6 pieces of purple carpet, and I think this is going to look fantastic, guys. Let's put a little purple rug in here. Yes, all right. That's going to give us some good color, just exactly what I wanted. Well, I went ahead and used a couple of the techniques we've already learned, a couple of the items we've already crafted, and finished out the bedroom. I think it turned out pretty fantastic. Went ahead and added in a couple plants in here, a couple pictures, a diamond just to remind us that we always need to stay on the grind for our diamonds. And I left this area blank here just so we can add to it in the future so we can put up our map collection. And now it's time to go ahead and tear down the old cozy cottage and transform it into something much more useful, our bulk storage unit. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into a short time lapse, and then I'll meet up with you guys after that, and we can go ahead and get everything organized and categorized. So when I tell you that it took me hours to do all the organizing in here, I mean it, guys. But this is the final product. So I went ahead and did some bone meal on the outside grounds. I put in a pathway. I put in some wooden stairs and slabs in here just to kind of even it out a little bit. I grew up a large oak tree. And in order to do this one, I went ahead and put my sapling down there, and then I stacked up 5 wood blocks here in order to force the tree to grow into a larger size. So that's how I got a big tree there, but it's a little bit easier than having to keep cycling the trees over and over. But on to the grand finale here, the final completed storage unit, guys. We have everything we need in here, and I've started to put up a little bit of some item frames so we can start organizing everything and getting everything categorized. But you'll see that all the chests are gone, and that means I finally got everything put into here. Now, the main structure was all constructed with polished andesite for the stone foundation around here, and then I went ahead and used a combination of polished diorite as well as smooth stone half slabs all the way around the outside to kind of give it this recessed look a little bit. And I'm sure you noticed in the time lapse there, the wandering trader paid us a visit, and boy did he bring us a treat. Spruce saplings for a small price of 5 gems each. 5 emeralds. I can definitely front that. So I went ahead and took some of our stockpile of the wheat, and there's a village right over the top of that hill over there, just on the other side. And I went over there, and sure enough, we actually found a farming villager that was willing to buy our wheat at just a bargain. So I went ahead, swapped that out, and got us some spruce. And now we finally have spruce as an addition. And you'll see that I've swapped out the original oak ones I had in there for the spruce to give it that more reinforced look. I've even swapped out the chimney over there already. So I'm extremely happy we finally got that stuff into our selection of choices. So in order to help me categorize the area a little bit better, I went ahead and labeled the top row and the bottom row here with some signs. Just cobble, stones, and sand. In the bottom area we've got dirt, gravel, actual stone blocks, and logs. And then I went ahead to use a block to signify what is in each one of these chests or barrels. So I've got gold for like my valuable gems, an iron bar for my iron, a stone hoe for all my tools, stuff like that. So everything is a little bit more organized now. And finally, I'm going to go ahead. I don't have as many item frames as I quite need yet, but I'm going to keep working on that. But I'm going to go ahead and start putting some item frames on the tops of these barrels here. In order to do that, you're going to make sure that you're crouching or in sneak mode, and you can go ahead and place a sign directly onto the barrel face. So now we can go ahead and access these. Now you got to be careful, because if you click onto the item frame, you're just going to place whatever you're holding into your hand there, like our shield. But if you click over to the side and actually click on the barrel, you can still access the barrel. So I'm going to go ahead and put another signifying item onto each one of these, just so we know what's in each one of these barrels. There we go, much better. Now the ones that are missing here and here, I actually haven't even gotten anything in those barrels quite yet. Now all I need is 2 more item frames for those 2 right there, and that'll finally finish off my full selection. So everything is completely categorized, everything is completely organized now, and I think it looks a whole heck of a lot better, guys. I really enjoyed this build. I think the storage unit came together really well. For the roof there, I don't know if you can see too well. Very easy design, guys. All I did was alternate half slabs of spruce and oak and a random pattern. Just randomize it. You don't need to make anything specific. You can see here on the underside of it. I think it looks a lot better. It looks like the wood is a little bit worn and faded away in spots. Oh, and then I went ahead and stripped these oak logs as well, of course, too. So just to give it a little bit more character. We haven't had anything in our world yet that has had stripped oak logs, so I wanted to try that out. And man, I just love this build, guys. I think it turned out fantastic. And not to mention, the inside of our house turned out really well as well. We have finally a suitable location to live in. Oh, and we also got our book there. You can see, ooh, yeah, I've been breeding a whole bunch of cows, guys. I am ready to go over there and kill them again, thank goodness. So I've stockpiled a bunch of wheat, and I've been breeding them as much as I can. But On our way over to the village just over the hill, the river actually had some squid. So I went ahead and got a couple of ink sacks and made our book and quill, and there it sits on top of our lectern there. And I think this area just turned out fantastic too, guys. This was a really, really fun episode. I hope you guys had a lot of fun with me. So I think we're going to get out of here for the day, though. I think that's more than enough projects for the day. I really hope you guys enjoyed what you were watching. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe, share with all your friends, and we'll see you soon in the next one. Bye for now.